Welcome to another episode of the Bullshit Show. I'm Dad. That's Nathan.
Me, dude.
The kitties are in the closet. I wonder when they're going to come out of the closet. And then we'll be shocked. Anchor Baby's a lesbian. Today is, what, March 1st? It's Super Tuesday, everybody! Yay! Like anybody really gives a fuck. Do we have any viewers in Super Tuesday states? If we do, did you vote? Kitties are coming out of the closet. They're scaring me. It's still early here in Florida, so we
Florida.
In Florida. And we haven't really got any hardcore election results except for Georgia and possibly Virginia. And of course Bernie's going to win Vermont because it's his home state. If he doesn't win Vermont, he might as well get out of the goddamn election. But what's come out of this? Let's see. What have we learned? Trump's going to be the Republican nominee. Rubio's going to be a crybaby. Ted Cruz is probably the Antichrist. So
Nothing new!
nothing new on the Republican side. On the Democratic side, Hillary continues to be a coos, but she'll probably be the party's nominee. Like I told you 2 weeks ago, I think Nevada was the spike in the heart of Bernie's campaign. So I don't know. I don't think there's going to be any earth-shattering results coming out of here. It's just the margin by which Hillary wins the states, I think, is going to be what's important. Not so much what she wins, but how big she wins. That's really going to be the only matter, because a lot of these states, the delegates are awarded proportionally. It's not winner take all like it is in some states. And so, you know, if it's like Iowa or something, where it's, you know, only a couple percentage points between the two of them, they basically split the delegates down the middle, and, you know, there's really no net gain. So I don't know if this Super Tuesday is going to prove to be as important as Super Tuesdays in the past, but I think after Super Tuesday we're going to see Ben Carson get out of the race, thank God, and John Kasich probably will be out of the race, even though he's poised to come in second in Vermont, believe it or not. But, oh well, good luck to all the candidates.
Except for the Republicans.
Except for the Republicans, because you're all a bunch of wonks. Let's see, next topic. The night before last, was the 80-something Oscars. Now, kids, I just realized I've been watching the Oscars for 40 years. I first stayed up late and watched an Oscar ceremony in 1976.
We have breaking news. Donald Trump has won Tennessee, Alabama, Massachusetts, and Georgia.
No big surprise there. Again, what's important is the percentage by which he wins. So,
Now you may continue.
But I've been watching the Oscars for 40 years. And I've only missed it, I think, once or twice, and even then I had it on, what?
Batteries.
Oh, even then I had recorded it on VHS and watched it later that evening because I had to work. But I have to say it was probably the single worst Oscar telecast I've ever seen. Chris Rock was terrible. I am so sick and fucking tired of his rants about racism and diversity. If I hear the word diversity one more time, I'm going to punch the fucker in the face. I'm sick and tired of hearing about that shit. Call me a racist, call me whatever you want, but I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. Black History Month is over. You guys can go back to the fields now. So,
Put that into the wall.
our battery's about to die, so we're panicking to, trying desperately to
Save the show.
Hurry! I'm trying. Hang on a second, folks.
Hi! Hey, dude. It's Nathan here. We're experiencing some technical difficulties. Now back to Dad.
Okay, I think we may have dodged a bullet on that one. Did you see my naked butt, by the way? Oh, I see. I'm not wearing pants. But anyways, it was the worst Oscar ceremony that I can remember. Boy, and I grew up with Johnny Carson hosting. I mean, you talk about setting a high standard. But I think the worst one may have been when James Franco and Anne Hathaway hosted, which may have been the lowest rated one. Which this one was the lowest rated telecast in 8 years. So that goes to show you that I think a lot of people got sick and tired of Chris Rock and his bullshit and turned the damn thing off. No real big surprises. I mean, I was a little surprised and pleased to see how many Oscars Mad Max won. It took almost all the technical awards except for cinematography, which I already explained on that one. How about Chivo? A three-peat, folks, for Chivo. And people are saying they're just shocked that Spotlight won Best Picture. I kind of predicted it a little while ago. I said if it doesn't go to The Reverend, then Spotlight is going to take it. And I had a gut feeling even into Sunday night that something like that might happen. And I'm glad that it didn't. I mean, this way this little film will get a whole new audience that it wouldn't have normally played to. And I don't know. I assume The Reverend's a good film, but I've heard it's not that great. And considering Birdman won last year, another ENR2 film.
But
bad film. But anyways, a three-peat for Chivo, Emmanuel Lubisky. Yes, 3 in a row.
And of course, you probably haven't heard it around the internet, but Leo finally got his Oscar.
Yes, Leo got his Oscar. I figured he would. I think everybody figured he would. It's kind of like Trump being the Republican nominee. It was kind of one of those things that was inevitable. And so everybody had to vote for him.
My gripe with it is the fact that Joe Biden came and introduced Lady Gaga's song about sexual abuse or some shit.
Which was one of the lowlights of the evening, by the way. That was crap.
It took Leonardo DiCaprio, an actor and not any part of the government, to talk about climate change.
This is true.
And they cut to Joe Biden, and he looked bored as hell.
Yeah, well, I was bored as hell at that point too, but I think it's ironic that Leonardo DiCaprio lectures the world about climate change, and yet he vacations on a big giant yacht that runs on diesel fuel. So we're all little hypocrites down deep. So what do you expect? A sad story came out of Virginia. I believe it was Virginia. Ashley Gwynnon was an officer and a police officer who had just been hired by the Port Richey Police Department. I think it was Port Richey in Virginia, or Port Richmond or something like that. She was on her first call on her first day on the job, and she got shot and killed. It's pretty sad what kind of society we live in. She responded to a domestic violence call, which turned out that this dude who happened to be black, this dude...
That's the thing, though. It was a black person killing a white person.
Yes.
You don't hear anything about it in the news.
I gotta say, we're not out looting, are we? Us white people aren't looting in the streets, going, Ashley,
White lives matter.
White lives
matter.
matter. Yeah, fuck them. But this stupid asshole shot his wife and killed her, and then shot 3 cops. Just so happens to have killed Officer Gwynnon. So, you know, I don't like cops. I'm not a fan of cops, except for the TV show. But this is really a sad story, folks. She was only 28. I mean, come on. So, whatever your opinion on cops are, you got to admit this is a sad story. So, condolences to her and her family. Well, not to her because she's dead, but to her family. Speaking of weird legal stories, there was a case that recently played out in Houston. And it makes sense that it would be Houston because Texas... Sorry if we have any viewers there, but Texas is a fucked up state. But there was this hooker, no name given in the report, who happened to be 67 years old. Which, if you're still choking on cock at 67, and getting paid for it, I'm not sure if it's just disgusting or if it's good on you. You know, I mean, seems like you may have found another career at this point. But she used a legal argument to basically get out of prison. She claimed that she was a spermaholic, that she was addicted to sperm, and she had to have sperm, both orally and vaginally, to survive. And a judge actually bought that argument and released her. Now, I've seen her mugshot, man. She looks, well, she doesn't look a day under 70, but she was a skank. But the only other spermaholic that I can ever think of was probably Elton John, maybe. But, so, it just goes to show if you have a creative lawyer and the money to pay for it, you can get out of just about anything. But, that's about all I got. I'm not sure I'm going to rant. I was going to rant about the Oscars because I was so pissed off at what a shitty show it was. It just boggles my fucking mind that the best talent in the entertainment industry is all in this room at the one time. I mean, for God's sake, Spielberg was there. And yet they put on such a shitty show. And it's been that way. The Oscars have never been that great of a show. Back in the days when Johnny Carson was the host, which ran for, the first probably 20 years I watched the Oscars, Johnny Carson was the host. And he was funny and classy, and then everybody else has sucked. And then they went into the Billy Crystal years, and he was good. They were really good at doing the little filmed bits, where they did the parodies on the movies. He was good at those. The year that Letterman hosted was pretty bad, but he wasn't as bad as what Chris Rock did. Chris Rock, like I said, other than the year that they had James Franco and Anne Hathaway host because they were trying to appeal to the youth market, that was a pathetic attempt. Because James Franco, although I have to hand it to him, he got high, and they actually pulled him out of the show for the last hour. It was pretty funny because he got high and just stood there like, yeah, our next presenter. Kind of like watching Ben Carson. It was pretty funny. But yeah, this was definitely a low light, and there, 34 million people tuned in, which is pathetic. I remember back when it used to be 60 or 70 million people, and so it deserved the low ratings it got. Hopefully Chris Rock will never be back, and you can take the word diversity and shove it up your little beehole. You had any comments? We didn't do a comment response show because we had issues, and speaking of issues, I'm not going to name names, but we know who you are, and we know what you did, and
nice try.
Nice try. Was not cool, but a nice try. But all we can say is, fuck you up the ass, okay?
Well, apparently you have.
Yes, apparently I have been, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking to you. I'm not going to say who you are, but fuck you.
When will Inside Out or In and Out come to Florida?
Well, yes, In-N-Out Burger, which is real popular. I had them when I was out in L.A. Great hamburger. I'm under the impression, and I've been told, that Five Guys Burgers, which is a chain that we have here in Florida, and I guess it's throughout the Southeast, where you can get a $6 cheeseburger. A very good cheeseburger, I might add. They're really good, but they're very expensive. I'm told that they're the same thing, that they're owned by the same company, or I don't remember. It's been a long time since I was in Los Angeles, and we grabbed an In-N-Out burger, and I was like, yeah, this is a good burger, but I don't really remember it that well. So I think, I don't think we'll actually get In-N-Out burger here. I'm told Five Guys is the same, and I think that question came from somebody here in Florida. So look around for Five Guys burgers and give them a try, but make sure you take your money, because they're expensive.
Why do you support Bernie?
Because he's too old.
Because, A, everybody else who's in the race, all the Republicans and even Hillary, are assholes. I don't like them. So by default, I have to pick Bernie. But I like Bernie because, A, he wants to end the war on drugs, which has been a dismal failure. We all know that, which means to legalize pot. And he's the most liberal of the candidates. I think this country needs a massive dose of liberalism. Obama was liberal, but he never went far enough on anything that he ever did. So hopefully in the last year he starts partying and whipping out some executive orders and who knows if he's not spending too much time in Cuba. But I think that Bernie has some great ideas. But as my Nathan's grandmother says, he's too old, which is kind of ironic because he's the exact same age that she is. So,
I'm just wondering when you fucked your first bitch.
When did I fuck my first bitch? I was 17 years old. So Nathan, that's a challenge to you. You got
22 days.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the year coming up. You got 22 days to beat my record. I was in high school, obviously, and there was this chick that had been warm for my form for quite a while, and she had lost her virginity at like the first of the year, and once she became that, she became like this massive slut, and so she started set her targets on me. Well, she kept bugging me about it, and I'm like, I'm not losing my virginity to Froggy. But May 23rd, 1983, I had skipped school because that was the day that Return of the Jedi came out. And I had gone to see Return of the Jedi. I sat through it twice at the Holiday Theater in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Great theater, big screen. And also had Noble Roman's Pizza, which I don't think Noble Roman's even exists anymore. They had this fantastic monster pizza that was just bueno. So I had a wonderful day. Like I said, I blew off 2 finals to go see Return of the Jedi on opening day, and was just in a fantastic mood. When I'm at home that evening, I get a call from, and basically her subtle techniques had stopped. She basically said, "Do you want to fuck?" And we, being the end of May, it was like school was ending. And it's like, she's going to bug me about this all summer long. God damn. So I just said, look, I'll make a deal with you. If I do this, will you just kind of leave me alone and quit bugging me? And so that was the deal that we struck. So I went and picked her up, and we went to Sunnymead, which was an elementary school, in their parking lot. And got in the back seat of my Pacer, which if anybody knows what a Pacer is, you probably know it from the movie Cars too, but Pacers were cars that looked like big tits. I used to call it the greenhouse because the back window was so big. It was like being in a greenhouse. But we curled up in the back of the Pacer and copulated like dogs. And the rest, folks, is history. Any other questions or comments?
No, not really.
Where are we at time-wise?
Almost done.
We're done?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this seemed to have flown right by. I'm glad we got the plug-in in time. Otherwise, we would have had to start it over, and I don't like doing second takes. Nothing going on this week that I'm aware of, except we got 2 weeks from now will be the election here in Florida. And which I guarantee you Marco Rubio won't win, and he'll be out of the race as soon as he loses Florida. So 2 weeks, Rubio's out. Carson, Kasich will be out in the next 2 weeks, trust me. Okay, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, wait a minute. Oh, yes! I will dedicate that one to Mokatoke. I haven't heard from you lately, Mokatoke. Where are you at?
Hey, dude!
Okay.
Bye!
Mochato, hit me up, dude.